This is a CBS News special report. I'm Errol Barnett at the CBS Broadcast Center in New York. At this moment, emotions are high both in Israel and in Gaza as a new round of hostages are being handed over to the Red Cross after 15 months of grueling captivity. Now, their names, as we understand it, are Romi Gonen, Emily Damari, and Doron Steinbrecher. Gonen was at the Nova Festival. She's only 24 years old. And Damari, who's 28, and Steinbrecher, who is 31, were taken from the same kibbutz, which is a settlement. Israeli military says they're on their way to Israeli forces in Gaza, and their impending release is part of the Israel-Hamas ceasefire that began overnight. Nearly 100 hostages are still inside Gaza, and at least a third, though, are believed to be dead. Hundreds, you may remember, were taken hostage and 1,200 were killed when Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th, 2023. Israel retaliated with airstrikes and a military invasion into Gaza, which the Hamas-run health ministry says has killed more than 47,000 Palestinians. But under this ceasefire agreement, both Israelis and Palestinians will be released in negotiated waves. It will also allow displaced Palestinians to return home, and of course, much needed aid will make its way into Gaza in greater numbers. Face the Nation moderator and our chief foreign affairs correspondent, Margaret Brennan, joins us now. Margaret, you were the first to report on this deal being reached earlier this week. Help us understand what's happening at this significant moment.
Errol, at this moment in time, CBS can confirm that those three women you named, who are 24, 28, and 31 years old, who have been in captivity for more than a year now, are in International Red Cross custody, and they are moving to Israeli lines. They have been handed over to the Red Cross. I understand that they are in relatively good shape, considering what they have been through in captivity. They will undergo, of course, further medical evaluations, other treatment, once they are handed over to Israeli custody. But the fact that this transfer happened is so significant, Errol. It was even in question up until 4:15 Eastern time this morning when the ceasefire went into effect. This has been hard-won diplomacy for the better part of a year. President Biden really pushing hard for both Hamas and the Israeli government to come to this agreement. What we see right now is a pause in fighting that went into effect very early this morning. You have this first transfer of these three women. We understand that after 7 days, there will be more of these hostages released. There is a cadence that is set up in this very detailed and intricate diplomatic agreement. Hostages release, period of time with more quiet. During this time, aid will also come in. We understand that because of the famine-like conditions in parts of Gaza, the ability of that aid to get in is just so essential to the millions of people living there, 1.1 million of them children, who are in some horrific conditions, hell on earth, as a White House official described it earlier this week. We're also watching, and the Red Cross will be part of taking custody of some of those Palestinian detainees and prisoners that Israel has agreed to release as part of this deal. There's a mathematical equation here, literally, of those women, three of them lined up, another number of Palestinians, and as they go through the sequence to get through phase one, 42 days, 33 individuals, three of the Americans who are assessed to be alive are being closely watched here. We understand that two of those Americans are expected to be released over the next 6 weeks. That third American, who is an Israeli soldier, would be part of phase two. And Errol, this is tenuous. This is ongoing diplomacy because phase two still has to be negotiated over the next few weeks. That will be in the hands of the incoming Trump administration. So we will watch carefully and continue reporting.
I'm Margaret Brennan with the latest for us from Washington. This is significant for Israel, for Palestinians, for the region, for the United States, for so many. We appreciate that update. We now want to speak with CBS News foreign correspondent Remi Inocencio. Remi, you're in Tel Aviv, and we're looking at live pictures from what's described as Hostage Square, which advocates and supporters have been gathered for so long. to come to a moment like this. Just give us a sense of that high sense of anticipation still now that the hostage release is actually happening once again.
Absolutely, Errol. Hostage Square has been the central focus of emotion, of hope, and of anxiety that Israel has gone through over the past 15 months. And in the past few moments, when we did see those 3 hostages get out of that Hamas vehicle and then go into that Red Cross vehicle, you can imagine that most of Israel here likely exhaled a deep sigh of relief. But with that said, as Margaret was also saying, this is just the beginning. We also understand that those Red Cross vehicles will take at least half an hour to get to the border with Israel. At the border, they will be handed off to IDF troops, where they will go through a very quick, urgent triage. Then they will cross the border and do another triage, and then they will be transported either by land or by helicopter to one of several hospitals across the country, medical centers across the country. 3 are right here in Tel Aviv, and one, Sheba Medical Center, we know is the focus where all 3 of those will be. We also understand that they will be siloed off from the world, likely except for their families, as they try to make this what will no doubt be a very difficult reintegration process. For example, there are specialized rooms, there are doctors, dietitians, and of course psychologists on hand.
Remy Inocencio with the latest out of Tel Aviv on this significant day as the first round of hostages are handed over to Israel as the ceasefire and hostage release continues. Our coverage will continue on CBS News 24/7 in moments and, of course, on your local news. I'm Errol Barnett. For many of you, CBS Sunday Morning continues. This has been a CBS News special report.